So good evening, everyone. Let me just transit the camera over. There we go. So good evening. Hopefully you can see the chat in the side there with some of the questions that are going up. Hopefully the stream holds out this evening. I've made a few changes, so I don't think I've got anything to plug other than the adverts that you saw at the start there. This is something like the New York trip. There will be additional events going on shortly onto the website and across the Facebook page, I have no doubt. So keep an eye out for those, because it's not just New York that I'm attending now. While in the States, we've added a few on there, so have a look when you when it's released, when it's all confirmed. And all the workshops and that are sold out currently right now, so I've got no spaces to fill or any plugs to do there, so we can just fire straight into the questions. And to do that, I'm going to have to change my camera and start scrolling back. So hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. Hopefully the visuals are good this evening. And there was where I changed it, I had uploaded the link immediately, which went wrong. So hopefully those people that are sitting on the other link will make their way over to this link. So I'm just gonna crack on with your questions. I'll be here as long as the questions are within reason. You can ask me anything on mechanics, on the mediumship. If I have an opinion or an answer, I'll give you it. But you can pretty much ask me anything, and we'll take it from there. So good evening to everyone. The first one would be Joanne Smith's question by the looks of it. And Joanne says, I would like to know more about orbs, as my bedroom is full of them. And this is a very, very common question that gets asked an awful lot as a medium. It's one of those things that are people are very, very curious about. The one thing with the spirit world is that it's a world of intelligence, and if you take any kind of camera, like a iPhone camera, any kind of mirrorless camera, DSLR camera, and you took a photo or you run video within any of those rooms, you will get fractions of light within that environment. And it's something that I am more familiar with now because of the research I had to do to learn to use the camera for the sake of this channel. And so we have to eliminate what could be dust particles or any kind of particles that could reflect any kind of light. And the spirit world is a world of intelligence. So if the orbs are present, they will show a form of intelligence. Things like stay still, move to the right, move to the left, that sort of stuff. That the orb will react in an intelligent way, but also in an educational way. It's going to respond with you. It wants to communicate, being it that it's spirit and it's intelligent. So we have to eliminate the usual factors: dust, other particles within the room, and that flicker of light reflecting and being captured within a camera or video. And once it shows intelligence, then you know that you can give it the title of an orb. So hopefully that answers your question there, Joanne. The next one is Maria. Maria, yep. I am at the beginning of my journey, and I've never received a passing condition from the spirits. I tried to ask, but I didn't seem to get anything. What's your advice on getting this information? It's quite simple, Maria. The problem is that we have, when we're on the beginning of our journey, we have different kind of ideas. You'd have read books, and you'd have had teachers maybe that would have suggested a certain way of doing mediumship. And what I always encourage is that the medium is unique. They're individual. And so we need to work with the individuality of the individual to find the best way to do that. Now, you have 5 senses to find, and the biggest or most common mistake that training mediums make is they look for a visual. When in actual fact, for passing conditions, the easier one would be the sensory feeling, so that would be clairsentient, and feeling for any kind of change within the body. There may be a pressure somewhere, there may be what feels like an impact somewhere. None of it will hurt or cause harm or cause any kind of distress for you, because it's just a sensory experience that we're having. And our intention is that with the spirit world, and we're asking them the question, how did you pass? Then that experience will start to begin. I would stop looking for a picture early on, because some passings can be very graphic or very traumatic, and maybe you as the individual are not quite ready to see that kind of imagery within your mediumship, so you have to look elsewhere. And the next stop would be the clairsentience, the feeling aspect. So I would look into that. What you've got to understand is that the information will be there, you're just not finding it. And the moment you can start to grasp or get the idea in your head of how that works, that the information is absolutely there, they're here to communicate, why wouldn't they give you it? Once you learn that it's you that's missing it, you'll find a way of finding it. And again, I reiterate, don't look for the visual because it may be too harsh or too traumatic. Look for the feeling, and you'll start to find your answer. So hopefully that gives you some insight there, Maria. CC Queen, how is working with a newly grieving client different from just practicing with other mediums who might not be as sensitive? How can you prepare for that? You can't. The classroom doesn't prepare you for it. Any kind of workshop doesn't prepare you for it. Any college doesn't prepare you for it. We're all there for the same reason. We're there to learn how to work with this sensory experience that we know as mediumship. So we've come to terms, maybe, or we're certainly a little bit more healed. We're not caught in the pain of someone's passing. When we're looking at developing our mediumship, we've usually undergone that grieving period already. With a client, they're very much within the grieving period when they are searching out for a medium. Their pain or their missing the person is going to be very, very heightened, and therefore they'll be a lot more difficult to work with. They're not going to be open. They expect their loved one to say exactly what it is that they want to hear, and what they expect to hear, and so the classroom can't give that experience within it. So I try my best to, as a teacher, to bring that ingredient with me into the classroom, and I try and make people aware on how to dial in information or get deeper information, and express it in the best way possible for the client. The awareness is going to be a huge thing. I don't mean the working of psychic, but your awareness is going to have to be on point to understand whether the client is still very much within that grieving period. And then we would present our mediumship in a way that they can handle, that they are ready for. Again, I totally believe that the teachers of mediumship right now are currently missing this ingredient, and not presenting it to a classroom. I liken it a lot to like learning to drive. You know, here in the UK, I don't think we learn to drive. We learn to pass the test. And actually, once you've got your license, you learn to drive. You learn to avoid the idiots of the road, and so on and so forth. And mediumship is very much like that. I don't think we learn in a classroom to do mediumship in the reality of what it is with the client. We learn to be capable within a room of like-minded people, but we don't learn with a room full of skeptics. We don't learn with a room full of grief or missing someone. So I am someone that tries to bring as many of those ingredients to the classroom as possible, but there is no preparation other than the real time. Hence why development is very much ongoing, and dialing in every sense and every mechanic you can over and over and over again, so you are better prepared for when the situation arrives. Good question, CC Queen. Elizabeth says, can you tell the difference between being in the power and dropping the power? I personally can. One is very, very vibrant. And it just, you know, I'm aware through my awareness, usually a visual or usually the feeling of the man or the lady that joins me, the boy or the girl that joins me. And I am very focused on that relationship, that blend that I have with the individual. And when I know when I'm not in that blend or not having that relationship. So one is very, very vibrant. And one is very, very flat. It's just I very much know the difference. This has come with years and years of development and working on that relationship. Maybe a little bit difficult early stages because you're trying to learn the subtlety of mediumship. So it's forgivable when we lose it. But again, I'm a teacher that always make sure the student knows whether they're in the power or they're out of that power. Do they have the communicator? Are they not connecting with the communicator because their mind is in dilution, overanalyzing, thinking logically? All of these things will pull you out of that power that you talk about there. So it's something that I'm quite passionate about and quite firm on within the Zoom classes or the workshops and the in-person classes and workshops, to get you to know exactly where you are. It's key for your development. Oh, that jumped a lot there. I'll find it. So Raven Fire Phoenix. I saw a red snake in my mind trying to connect to a spirit guide. It looked very real and it rasped its tongue. Very, very lifelike. Is this natural? Yeah, it's very natural, very normal, and you're just going to be one of those individuals that can work very much with animals such as snakes. What it is there is no people and there is no animals. It's energy, it's consciousness. And what happens is, I've got pens here somewhere. I don't know where. Find the set. So what happens is that as we oh, that's getting terrible. As our mind starts to move into the gears, so the altered states here, as we move into this zone of 13 hertz to 7 hertz, we're in an altered state of awareness, which we all understand that term, I assume. And the projection, the way your mind is comfortable or your mind feels safe, you feel you're within the parameters that you have set while in this altered state, then the projection can be that of an animal. Some people will talk to the animals, others just know what the feeling is through the sensory. Other people will work with people. Other people will work with famous people. And again, it's just the projection, the avatar that the mind is creating for you to start expression, to get that up and running. So in answer to your question, is this natural? Yes, very, very, very normal. CC Queen says, heard a medium say that clairaudience occurs at a different frequency than the other clairs. That doesn't make sense to me. Aren't we working with all the clairs at the same altered state? So within this area here is our altered state. So we are working as mental mediums in the 13 to 7 hertz range for the altered state. The frequency can be between whatever. Does it change? Not for me. It's not. The energy is the energy. The energy is pure, and it'll be a consistency. There's a constant of the energy, and through that constant, my mind has to decipher it. And so I will choose to see a picture, or hear a sound, or feel a feeling, or smell a smell, or taste a taste, but the frequency or the vibration doesn't change. So I would say that person is misinforming people. White Light Tarot, hey back. Susan, hello from New York, I assume that is. So hello from Essex, England. Our wonderful world, do spirits have emotion? Not in the human way that you are, that we think. Humans react in their emotional state, good and bad. They react. So they do have emotions, but not in a way that we comprehend. We don't understand it. So when we properly connect to the spirit world, it's overwhelming. It's so pure, and the human body will react in a way where it just wants to cry, in effect, because it's so pure. It's so it's purity, essence. So I would say yes, they do have emotion, but not in the human way. Very difficult to explain that one. Our wonderful world. But yes, the answer is yes, but not in the way that we deal with emotion. Katie says, "Good evening." Good evening, Katie. Our wonderful world. Do you think you should protect yourself with white light before doing a reading? Very simple answer there. No. I work with purity and essence of the spirit, which is, translation is, pure love. I'm not going to protect myself from pure love. Carol is now on the moderator. You can see that she's adding the website there, and a PayPal link to help with the channel. I always forget that bit, and I should do it a bit more. I don't like doing it, but so there is a super chat option at the bottom there. You'll see a little $sign or something like that. And when you do a super chat, it lets me know that your question needs to be answered, in effect, immediately. I take a percentage of that, and YouTube have a small percentage of that, and that's just for transparency reasons. With the PayPal, it's just the PayPal fees that PayPal get, and then I get the full amount of what you donate. There is no minimum. It's, if you want to do $1, you can do $1 or £1, or you can do an unlimited figure. Entirely up to you. The reason that is there is to help with the channel, the cost of the channel, and the equipment for the channel, and for evenings like this. So if any of you wanted to donate, buy a coffee, that sort of stuff, I will be very appreciative. So thank you in advance anyway. Wayne Whippy says, "Hi Charlie, why do spirit very rarely give their name? Always wonder why they tell you everything else but not their name. Thanks." It's not that they don't give the name, Wayne. It's the medium's mind. Everything is restricted by the medium's mind within this area here, within the altered state. And what will happen is, if you wanted a name, your mind will start thinking logically, which will pull you out of the altered state, because you think it's so important to give a name. Now, there are a lot of people that want names, but they work too hard for it. They want it too much that they can't be in the gear of mediumship, because their logical mind is getting in the way. So the name is there. It's the restriction of the medium. They start thinking logically, which pulls them out of gear, which then their information will start to be wrong. A name for me doesn't really have much value. It's just a label. If we can bring the essence of that individual forward, And what I mean by that is if the client can feel that someone's in the room, it feels like love, it feels like their loved one, then the name's kind of irrelevant there. If it's just facts and figures and information, then the name can be there, but it doesn't really give that feeling of the person being in the room. So I'm someone that if the name's there, then I'll give it, but I won't actively look for it, because it just pulls the medium out of the gear. So the answer is there, Wayne. It's down to the individual medium, and how much value they give that name, and whether it pulls them out of gear or not. So the information will always be there. Every part of that person's life will be available. It's down to how the medium deciphers that information during the acts of mediumship. Susan says, do you believe you can ask for gatekeepers to bring your spirits that have passed in a car accident so that you'd be able to feel with that passing condition feels like? I don't like the term gatekeeper, but I assume you mean your spirit team or spirit guides or something along those lines. Don't really like the term gatekeeper, but for that, yes, you can. Now, I've done a meditation that you would have seen at the start of this link, and one was called the corridor. And I used the corridor for that very example, Susan. I'd ask them that behind the door, could I experience something like a car accident within that room that I enter? I will enter that room. I will have that experience, which will help me later on in my mediumship for the people that have lost people to a car accident. That link is available on the website if you wanted that version that I have recorded. But I've literally told you what it is. I asked my team for it to be in a room. I enter the room. I have the experience. Then I leave the room with said experience. So, yes. David says hi. Hi, David. Judy Lynn says, how many clients do you feel a medium should see in a 7-hour period? Let's say half-hour readings. I would maybe say 7. By the time that you've greeted your person in and you've got rid of your person, then you've hydrated, smoked a cigarette, gone to the loo, that sort of stuff, then that would be another 30 minutes clocked up. So 7. It would be down to the individual on how much they can get into that. What I would say is that within a 7-hour period, you must make sure that reading 1 is the quality of reading 7. So all 7 have a minimum quality to them that is acceptable. What tends to happen when a medium reads one after the other, by links 5, 6, and 7, they're weak. And that's unfair on the client that's having the reading. They may have saved up for that reading, and their issues are just as important as the first reading. So the quality has to be maintained. If you feel that after 4 readings in a 7-hour period that the quality is going to deteriorate, then you should call it a day and reevaluate the hours that you want to work. But the quality must be sustainable throughout, because they're all really, really important. Hopefully that answers you, Judy. Miss Silver 41, you said the information is there, you're not finding it. Look to the feeling. How do you look for a feeling? Shouldn't feelings just come to us? None of it will come to you like it will just be there. It's a big misconception with mediumship. A lot of mediums are taught to go knock on the spirit world door and then wait for the information. But that's not communication. That's a puppet. That's just being pulled in a way that the puppeteer wants it to react. Spirit communication is in the very label that spirit communication comes under. Communication means me communicating with them and them communicating with me, and all of us communicating with the loved one that's entered the room. So you actively have to work within the altered state. That's what development's for, is to, if I can't see the picture, then I check my feeling. You know, you're not thinking of your knee right now, but now you are, because I've brought it up. And so you check your knee. Is there any pain, or can you even feel your knee? And because you're doing that, your attention goes to your knee. That's you looking for a feeling. And that's exactly what you would do in mediumship. You would check the instrument that you are, the vessel that you are within that auric field, and you're looking for change. And that change will be that of the communicator. So you are actively looking throughout the senses, through the sensory experience, what is different right now within this vessel, within this instrument. And that is mediumship. That's how we do that. Elia, hi from Ayla, Spirit Whisperer Victoria. Hiya. Sarah, it's just jumped. It was someone called Sarah. Let me find you. Sarah, there you are. Hi, I just started the corridor meditation, and I wouldn't say my visuals or feelings are that good at the mo. Will this get better with practice and over time? I think you've got to enjoy it, Sarah. Don't try and make it better, stronger, weaker, clearer. I wouldn't try and do any of that. Just have the experience. And over time, that will get much, much better, much clearer, much better. The more and more you try, the more and more your mind comes out of the altered state. It's not going to be in the right gear because you're trying to do it. You're trying to be there. So just enjoy the experience. And over time, you just become so familiar with it that the thinking brain slows down. It slows right down. The altered state is much, much better. Therefore, the experience will be better from there. So that's what I would do. Just enjoy it. Omar says hi. Hi, you, Omar. Judy says, what would you tell a student medium who starts to get very emotional during a reading? That's a two-part question, isn't it? So where's the other pen? I need to change the camera. I don't know if you can see that. Have a look. See that? Yeah. So that's the medium. That's their auric field. Yeah. And this is going to represent emotion. They're wearing it too close. I'd instruct them to move it back so they are not over emotional. Very, very simple process. They're wearing it too closely. And also, what would you say to a student medium that feels the pain and discomfort of the person's death? That's what that's what they want. They want that. Again, it will be, if it's too strong and they're actually feeling pain or discomfort, then move it. Just ask them to move it back. You need to take that off me. It's too strong. That will ease back within the auric field. That wave of information. It will move off. It will feel weaker, but you can still get the information that you needed from that wave of information there. Just set slightly back. Yeah, it's quite simple, really. Lachelle Lay. You spelt that out for me. You've been on here before. So when connecting to spirit, are we exclusively talking to those who are in the spirit world and have not reincarnated? Reincarnated don't work like that. Lachelle Lay. This is not a great angle, you know. So I always draw it as a Rubik's Cube, although that is not a Rubik's Cube. I messed that up, but not to worry. There. So if we take the whole as as spirit, so my higher self, my soul, my spirit is the collective one. That whole thing. This one facet here is the incarnation of Charlie. This facet here may have been me as Mary. This facet here would be me as Dave. So even if I reincarnate as Dave, when the medium connects to the spirit, the whole, it will only discuss this one that I was incarnated with as Charlie to my loved one here, because it's intelligent. So reincarnation is irrelevant in that moment. Hopefully that makes sense. Lachelle, I think it was. Miss Silver, if you need to be in an altered state to read, how can you ask questions back and forth with spirit? Doesn't that pull you out of the altered state? It will do very early stages. Yep, it will do. That's, again, I reiterate that you have to develop the moment. So in a normal conversation, if someone is having a conversation with you, you know, hiya Jane, oh hiya, you don't think, oh, I need to say hiya back. It's a very natural process because it's done every single day. When we're trying to think of conversation, one of those difficult conversations maybe, and we're trying to think of the next thing to say, that pulls us out of gear. That means we're not comfortable. We tend not to go and have those conversations too often. We want to be with a friend, someone that understands us, where we don't have to think too much. That is exactly what we do with mediumship. They become our friend, and the conversation becomes very, very natural. Year after year after year after year of development, and you do the same thing, you know, like, oh, that passing feels terrible, how did it happen? You're not even thinking about asking that, because it's just the natural next step that you do within your mediumship. Like driving the car, I use that one quite a lot. At first, you need to be in a heightened state. You need to be fully alert, because I need to be in gear 1, I need to be in gear 2. Don't forget about the clutch. Don't forget the braking distance. Don't forget any of that. 10 years down the line, you're one-handed, you're having a conversation, you're turning the radio station while changing gear and avoiding every obstacle in the road. Conversation is no different. So at first, yep, of course it will be. It will be a distraction. Years down the line, it's just very, very normal. A normal conversation. Sarah says, hi, I think there is still fear inside me from seeing spirit when I was younger. I think this is holding me back from talking with spirit. I think there's a block. How can I get over this and try to be positive? Well, you've kind of said it yourself there, Sarah. You think there's fear, then the likelihood is there is absolutely fear there. And fear will just destroy it, unfortunately. It's one of those things. You're scared of what may or may not happen. So we have to educate the mind in a different way. The spirit world are not going to harm you. They absolutely won't harm you. They're not there to cause harm. They're there to communicate with a loved one. That communication is, you know, most of the time through the love that they shared with the individual sitting opposite you. In a development class, it's the love they shared with the developing medium, the student. There is a relationship that has been had. So you're worrying about things that won't happen. You're worrying about the Hollywood version of a spirit, or a book version of a spirit, or some idiot's live feed version of a spirit that says you need to protect yourself, you're going to be harmed, they're there to get you, all that kind of stuff. You can't be harmed. It's permission based. They can't hurt you, they can't do it. And you've only got to look at that logically. Take the US, when you've got one of these crazy gunmen that runs in a school and kills 25 children in a 30-second period. If the spirit world could harm people, they could also take that bloody gun off that man's hand, couldn't they? And save 25 to 30 lives within that time period. So they can't hurt you, they can't touch you, they can't harm you, they can't do any of that. So the fear is man-made. The fear is your own mind. So once you override that fear, you realize, I can't be hurt, I can't do that, they can't do that. You embrace the journey. You embrace that feeling of essence of the spirit world, that love that comes with it. And you realize, oh my God, this is absolutely magical. you start to see the world in a different way, and your mind is completely changed. But only you can do it. No one else can help you do that. So it's entirely in your hands. To be fearful or not is your call, I'm afraid. I know that sounds very blunt, but that's the harsh reality there. Yeah, I got that, Miss Silver. Pull you out of your estate. Yeah, I got that. So Susan, oh, there you go, Sarah. There's a video being put up for you with fear that I did probably a couple of years ago now. That should help. Susan says, thank you. I was going to check the meditation out. So glad I found you and hope to see you in New Jersey. I hope to see you there too. So once this is all done and dusted, it's I'd imagine I'll be in the US quite a lot. What did you say? Right, there's only 8 spaces left on that one, Susan. So if you really want to go, then you better contact admin where we can reserve a space. Imbalanced me. Hi, Charlie. It's Jacqueline. Hi, Jacqueline. I typically receive confirmation of the evidence obtained while in one of your classes, but in practice circles, many people don't make any relevant connections. Why? Why not? Well, you're literally about to make this live feed a controversial one. It's the teacher. It's the teacher. Simple answer. Jacqueline, every time I do a class, I fully explain the process. I fully explain what I expect of you as a student. I fully explain the mechanics that are required. I explain why those mechanics are required. I explain how to achieve those mechanics. Then I send you off to do mechanics. If the connections are not being made outside of the classroom, then something's failing. The mechanic is wrong. The energy is not in the best place to be working. So it's quite a simple answer there. Marie, I have done your corridor meditation, but want other doors. When I try to add doors of my own, doesn't seem as effective when I hear the guidance from you. Have you considered doing one for more doors and have other students done recordings for themselves to add doors to help with verbal guidance meditation? Hope this makes sense. So in effect, you're asking for expansion packs for the meditation. I can do that. I can do an expansion pack. So volume 2, volume 3, volume 4. I can do that. If people want that, then I would need what kind of doors that you would want now. I know what doors I want now. But to help, I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult. So in the expansion pack of Corridor, Volume 2, what additional doors are required. You can do that privately or to admin, and I will see what I can create there. Lorraine says, no, I've lost her. Where's she gone? It jumps a lot. Lorraine, there you are. Lorraine, hi Charlie. I have been away for a while. Hope you and the family are well. Yeah, well, I'm really good. Thank you, Lorraine. I think I've seen some of your posts on Facebook, so it looks like it's all going well for you, Sue. So I hope you and yours are well also. Miss Silver 41, thanks Charlie. Reference checking myself for feelings and physical ailments. No one's ever told me that. You'd be surprised. It makes so much sense. You'll be surprised how many times I hear that, Miss Silver. Literally in the last class that I run on Zoom, there was about 4 or 5 penny drops with certain students where they were like, why has no one ever said it like that before? So yeah, I get it, and hopefully it moves forward in your journey now. Judy says, thank you. No problem, Judy. Alan says, hey, just got a spinning top table for communication. When I sit for table, do I have hands on it or sit like I do in the power? Any indicators to look for the table is ready to talk? You'll know when it's ready to talk, mate. I would personally, I know you enough that I think I can give you the a more personalized answer there, Alan. So what I would do is I would sit as you do. I would sit with the table present while you're sitting in your power time. You know, so you're sitting with your team, you're doing that, but bring the table into the room. Let the table be there. Let it be beside you. When you want to dedicate time to the table, then it would just be fingertips on the table. Just fingertips. And you'll know when it's ready. It's very quick, by the way. It will happen quite quickly. The most destroying ingredient you can bring into a room is expectation. So a little background story for you, so it gives you relevance. I know you're someone that collects the old school books. As you know, I'm a lover of the old school books and the pioneers of modern spiritualism. And you'll be very familiar with a man called Leslie Flint. Leslie Flint was Voices in the Dark medium. Whenever it was dark, the voices would start chattering away. So things like the cinema would have been a nightmare for Leslie Flint. And there is some funny stories in his book about that very scenario. But he sat for 7 years with not a thing. Nothing for 7 years because of the expectation that he had when he was trying to develop it. The wishing and the wanting and the expectations, and these are all ingredients that damage the essence of the room, the ingredients of the room. So just know that the table will start when it's ready, and don't put a time frame on it. Enjoy it, embrace it, and the table will let you know when it's ready. And you will have to let me know in time how that went. Lachelle says, you are amazing. Thank you. Thank you very much. And if I'd have read that out first, I wouldn't have said it out. So caught me off guard there. Thank you. The Unknown by Jordan. I'm just going to call you Jordan because that's going to sound weird, Jordan. I hope you're doing good through these grim times, Charlie. I am. I'm fine. You know, I don't think my life has changed that much, to be honest with you, Jordan. It's just got a label now, lockdown. Other than that, other than my demonstrating, I usually demonstrate, 4 nights of the week. I haven't done that since March. I've done one. I've got one next week. So it's just gave me other areas to focus on. But other than that, my life's kind of unchanged. So yeah, I don't want it to sort of, if I think about it or I watch the news or I read Facebook or any that stuff, it can be a bit of a downer. But I'm enjoying life right now, so unchanged really. Judy, I love the reincarnation explanation you gave. No problem. Marie, you mentioned in your classes and videos people should enjoy their mediumship. Can you give the how to do this? Are there some people who just can't and will forever take it seriously because it's spiritual? It falls under that category, doesn't it? There's gonna be you've got. With anything that we do, anything we try and be good at, I mean, I always use like sports stars as the example. They're so passionate about their sport, but that the dedication that goes into it. But you see them laughing and playing and enjoying during the time. For some reason, the spiritual stuff and the community just are like, you offend me, you're so rude, you're so, whatever. And so it just kind of takes some of the magic away. The spirit world, from every decent medium and every decent philosopher on spirituality, they've always spoke of the abundance, the bountiful experience that you have. They're overjoyed. Are they? I mean, the mediums I'm watching are kind of miserable, and they're like, it's, you need to take it seriously. You need to do this. You need to do that. I tell you right now, there's probably not many that take it more seriously than me, but I make sure I have fun. It is hard work, a spiritual way of life. It is hard work. It's a lot of analyzing, looking at self-development, and you know, responsibilities that go with it. It can be tough, so you have to enjoy it as you go along. Can people give that bit up? I've watched people destroy themselves because of it. So I've seen people walk away because of it. I've seen people become more miserable, and I've seen people stagnate. They haven't moved on for 10 years in their development because of their mindset. They refuse to look at it. They refuse to accept that it's them holding them there in that place. So you have to enjoy it. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to play and mess up and fail. But when we take it out to the public, that's when it's serious. That's when we've got the grieving client in front of us. That's when it's serious. That's when we give it the respect it deserves. And through that, your development, your experience will shine through. You know, the ones that are really, really anal about it, you know, the ones that are like battering on about it, are usually the worst ones. There's no evidence, there's no essence, there's no... So I wouldn't pay any attention to that kind of thing, Marie, in my own opinion, you know. So I think you should enjoy the magic that the spirit world bring during development, because they are always talking about that, and give it the respect it deserves, you know, and in all other places. It's quite a simple philosophy, really. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. It is magical when you enjoy it. TC Queen, do pros need to record their readings, and should clients be allowed to record audio only? All my clients are allowed to record audio, and I record mine. I do it for protection. I don't mean from the spirit world. I mean from the individuals that I come across. The laws are different in the US, but here in the UK, we are not allowed. We are governed by law, that we are not allowed to talk about health within a reading, and because of that, I record, because I had a client tell all their friends and family that Charlie saved my life. He told me I had cancer, and I didn't. I never said that. And I had a recording to sort of hold that against it. So they get a recording, I get a copy. So they have one, I have one, and that was just for my own safety, just in case it ever ended up in court. But always give them permission to record. Most people have got a phone now, haven't they? And I think all phones now have a dictaphone app or application on there that you can use. Just let them use that. I don't see the issue. I don't know why someone wouldn't allow recording of a private one-to-one. I'm just going to call you Michelle rather than try and say the rest of that. Thank you, Charlie, for your time. How soon after a loved one passes can they communicate? Immediately, Michelle. Immediately. Sarah. Sarah says thank you. No problem, Sarah. Oh my God, it jumped again. Oh, Michelle, there's a video linked to under your question, on the very subject that you've just asked about there. Miss Sil 41, seriously, I could hug you right now. Appreciate your advice so much. If I had a spare quid, I'd give you it. Hope a virtual hug will do. Of course it will do. Of course. Patricia, hi Patricia. Your practical approach always amazes me. Will you be coming to Texas area while here? Is Texas on the cards yet? No, it's not on the cards as yet, but I will. I fancy doing Texas, so I will see. I will see what I can do, Patricia. Elizabeth says, hard work and life changing. Mediumship, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Lachelle says, would you recommend starting with a friend? If so, can you give an example of what that would look like? I recently discovered that I am being reached out to. Starting what with a friend? Lachelle, you'll have to forgive me for being stupid. I don't understand. So you're gonna have to rewrite it, I'm afraid, just because I don't understand the question. Well, we're getting to the end, so you better start piling in your questions, or the stream ends. So, all right, I can see that you've just done it. Reading for a friend. Actually, I recommend that you don't start working with friends because you just get too comfortable. And a mediumship is best experienced being uncomfortable. Really stretch the comfort zone. So it's okay to make friends while in circle or around. There are Facebook groups. There are loads of opportunities where you can get on Zoom with other people, etc., where you can exchange readings. I recommend you go down that route rather than a friend. A friend will be kind. A friend will be making evidence fit for you. It's just not worth it because you have to undo all of that later on in your development. So there is someone on the chat called Marie. You would have seen her name there somewhere, and CC Queen. I know they both run circles and groups. I know one of them runs a group on Facebook. If you want to reach out to them, you can do it in the chat here. I've got no problems with that. And if they want to guide you in that way to their group, I also have no problems with that because I know them both through teaching them. But I wouldn't. I strongly recommend not doing it with a friend. Did I? Oh, there. So it is. I don't know how I missed your question there, Patricia. So I have been informed and I have gone back to it. So beyond evidential communication of age, how one died, names, etc., does any communication come through about what life is like on their side? Are they eating, working, cleaning? It's very, very difficult to comprehend, Patricia. So it's rarely discussed from an individual. There is no body, so they don't have to eat. There's no body. The body's here on Earth. It's left here, cremated or buried. It's left. So eating is not a thing. Working is not a thing. Cleaning is not a thing. And it's very hard to comprehend with the human outlook. It's a state of consciousness which is hard to grasp. I fully appreciate. So when the mind is ready, you start to get insight to what that may look like, but very rarely spoken about. Very rarely. That's a really interesting question, though, Patricia. I like your idea there. That's the one I read, right? No, I don't think so. Miss Silver. In terms of practice, reference one-to-one versus platform. Can it be detrimental to try a platform reading if you're not got the soul makeup for public dems? Would one-to-ones be better? I don't think I can answer that one properly, Miss Silver. I'm a very shy individual, very, very shy. This camera stuff, I was really nervous today before I come on this live feed. The camera stuff I do with the videos just feels a little bit easier. Demonstrations, I never ever wanted the platform. I never wanted to do demonstrating. I just didn't. It's not who I am. It's not what I'm about. But you know, it turns out that I'm all right at it. It turns out I can hold an audience. It turns out that I can present information in that way. And I wouldn't have had a clue early stages that was where I was going to go. Wasn't interested at all. And now it's a very, very large portion of my life. So I wouldn't rule it out. I would just look at your development and not have too much of an idea of where it's going to go. Just embrace the journey. You know, you're learning one-to-ones and you dabble a little bit of gallery reads or platform reading. You know, just dabble and just see how you are. And I assure you, in 5 years' time, we'll both look back at that question and giggle and go, do you remember when you asked me that on one of those live feeds? I would just see where it takes you would be the best mindset there. Wayne says, thanks, no problem. Judy, will you be coming to New York when you're in New Jersey next year? Only for private time. Only for private time. New Jersey's way too close to New York for me to set up another event in New York City. The cost is like tripled, quadrupled for a few miles, and it's just not worth paying that sort of money for the course that you can pay to get a coach or a taxi to the venue that I'm at. So I would say it's worth the few extra pennies to travel to when I'm in New Jersey than it is putting one in New York, because the cost is just ridiculous. Hence why it's in New Jersey. Yeah, read that, didn't I? Oh, jumped. Where am I? Tim, you skipped Patricia's question. I got it, Tim. It's all right. I've answered it now. I hope you're well, mate. Nice to see you on. Ryla, how can one get their logical mind to turn off? Any exercises? You have to fail, Ryla. You have to fail. Your logical mind kicks in because of your ego. And your ego is preventing you from failing because it don't want you to look like an idiot. So look like an idiot, and the logical mind will go, "Oh, I've had enough of this. I'm leaving," and it will leave, and your ego will climb back in its little cave, and then you can get on with your development. So that's what it is. I read so many quotes and stuff like spiritual quotes and that sort of stuff, you know. And I am absolutely sick to death of practice makes perfect. Do you know, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice is just, you practice the stuff that you're good at. So you just get a little bit better at the stuff that you're good at. Failing makes perfect. Because you fail so many times that you perfect what it is that you're trying to do. So failing makes perfect, not practice. So I reckon, go be an idiot. Go mess it up. Go understand it a little bit more. And through all of that, the logical mind will have no choice but to switch off when working with the spirit world. Sarah says, I do the corridor meditation and it's great. But when I'm trying to communicate with my guide without meditation, I always see him there where I normally see him in meditation. Is that okay? That's absolutely fine. Do you know, just work with it for now. Just continue. Just crack on. And over time it will change. It may not change. But the conversation is taking place, whether it be there or not. It's taking place. So the avatar, the surroundings of said avatar are kind of irrelevant at that point because the communication's taking place. So Who cares if it's in the same room, the same field, the same cave, the same cloud, whatever it is? Who cares? The communication is taking place. So, or is it me making it up? It's not you making it up. I promise it's not you making it up. Cool. So I've had a super chat there. That's a big super chat as well. So, and I'm gonna have to find out who it was. There is a little menu I can click. Oh, did he? So it says, I don't know why my thing's not telling me, but Carol tells me it's by Jordan. Let me scroll down. It'll be down there somewhere, won't it? No, it's not hit my. Oh, there you are. Lost it again. I will get to it in a minute, Jordan, when this mouse stops playing up. Jordan is my name, Charlie. Cool. The long name of the book on Amazon. Have a great evening. I look forward to watching this back tomorrow as my internet keeps skipping. Good night, bud. Thank you very much. Very, very much appreciated. And as always, and you donated the last time, Jordan. So again, thank you very much. It will always go back into the channel for the equipment, etc., etc. So thank you very much appreciated. Now I'm going to have to try and find where I was. that little bar, yeah, you've got a little suite on YouTube when you're live, and it clearly didn't work there. So I got to Sarah, and she wondered if she was making it up. No, you're not making it up. So to give clarification on that, is that you accept the communication in that area normally. So don't start questioning it because you're receiving it in the area that you would usually receive it. So they're just using that avatar, that projection within the mind for you to listen, for you to communicate. So no, you're not making it up. Deb says, you once explained that you introduce yourself to everyone to get names from the spirit world. Can you recommend other ways to get names? Thanks. Great class last night, by the way. I don't know another way of doing it, Debs, because that was the simplest approach that I could find. You know, when I've worked with people that have been like a doctor's receptionist, or someone that's on the end of any telephone, and they're constantly taking down names. They've been the easiest people to teach to get the name, because it's part of their job. You know, name, number. You know, what's the point of the call, and they just accept it back. So you've just got to find something that brings in a very easy repertoire where you accept the name. The problem we have with mediums and mediumship is, if I was in the spirit world and Deb says to, well, let's take me normal. So Deb says to me, hi, my name's Deb. What's your name? And I go, Charlie. They never go, wow, really? Is your name Charlie? I can't believe you got the name Charlie. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. We don't do that in normal life. Now, if I'm working with the spirit world and I've got Dave with me, and what mediums do is they go, I'm going to try and get a name with the man that joins me, and I think his name's Dave. And the client goes, oh my God, his name is Dave. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe I got the name. I can't believe it. And that always baffles me. What? You can't believe that the dude knew his own name. That's shocking. So we're all developing mediumship with an intelligent spirit world, and we're trying to pass on information of the life that they had, the way that they passed, maybe the surroundings that they had, you know, the family, the impact they had on the people, all of that stuff you expect. But when they tell you the name that they had their entire life, the shock value comes in. And that just blows my mind. You're like, why wouldn't they know their own name? So we get caught up in it. So we are giving too much power to that of the name. It's almost like we are taught in some way that has to be the be all and end all of the communication. And I just couldn't disagree more. Just Oh well, is what it is. So no, I don't know another way. That's the way I trained myself to be able to do it a lot easier. So every time I met someone, I introduced myself. They told me their name. So when I went to the spirit world, they gave me their name. That was the easiest way I could find. I don't know of another way. You could ask them to write it down. I mean, you know that game where you stick like a sticky note on your forehead and you have to guess the person. You could get them to do something like that. That would be another way of doing it, I suppose. Or wear a name badge. All visitors from the spirit world, you need a lanyard or a name badge before we start work, and then you can just look at their name badge, can't you? I mean, the options are endless. You just got to find one that you're going to actually work with, and then that'll work for you. CC Queen, how would you explain things when people ask why bad guys get to go to the same place as good guys? How do you explain it? I explain it like planet Earth. You know, it's we've got the. I don't know how I'm going to draw this. I have no idea what the lands look like. So we'll have these little. That looks like a face. I'm an idiot. But we'll have like land, and some of us will know that as Russia, United States, Brazil, Europe. You know, that kind of stuff. And they all exist here in one place, don't they? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And the spirit world is like that. They go to the same place, the earth, the spirit world, but they don't reside on the same island as such, the same bit of land. Their behaviour determines where they're going to go on that bit of land. You're accountable for everything. So yeah, that's kind of the easiest way I can explain it. We're all from one place here, and they all exist here. We all go to one place. We go to the land that we've earned through the deeds that we have done here on Earth. Susan says, Carol. I don't know what that means. Katie, have you ever had side effects such as feeling sick or banging headaches after doing readings? I have after a couple of recent readings. Is it energy related? If you think it's energy related, then it could be. It could be something as simple as hydration. You're not hydrating enough. You're using the brain a lot and the mind a lot during the acts of a read. So the more likely cause there is hydration. I would maybe do that. Feeling sick is kind of common for me. I'm really motion sick, so if I drive a car, I'm all right. If I'm the passenger in someone's car, I reckon I've got 10 to 15 minutes and I need to get out. I'm motion sick. And I when I'm working with my auric field and the blending's taking place, they're coming in and then they're leaving and then they're coming in and then they're leaving. This gives me the feeling of motion, and I get motion sick. So feeling sick can be quite a normal thing for me. The banging headache is probably hydration. I wouldn't say it was energy. I wouldn't say that. But if you think it's going to be that, then you're going to start looking for it, and then you're going to start finding it, because that's the way energy works. Susan, Carol Ann, would you have a link to sign up for Jersey? Yep, it's on the website, so mediumcharliekelly.co.uk, and that link will go in at the bottom any second now, I imagine, Susan. Judy, I live in central New York, 5 hours from New Jersey venue. That's cool. I live about 5,000 miles away from that New Jersey venue, and I'm going. So, yeah, 5 hours. 5 hours. I don't know. Debs, I plan to spend some me time with my team to ask them to teach me, as you mentioned you've done yourself. Did you use guided meditation or sit in silence? Thanks. I've done a video on it, Debs, developing on your own. That will get added at some point in the chat for you to maybe watch. But for me, mine was silent for a long period of time. The problem is with guided meditations, and I know I've got one for people because they just kept on asking that I created it for them, is that if I didn't like their voice, it would just irritate me. And so I never got anywhere with it. So so I did it in silence, and eventually I developed a mind chatter with that of the spirit world where I could ask sometimes for certain things and all that kind of stuff. But the video explains it a lot better than that explanation there. So that video will go in at the bottom there somewhere in the next. Is it on already? Yeah, it's already on. So already done. Cool. Miss Silver. Great answer. I'm shy as S** hashtag. So I'll dabble with the gallery den practice with no expectations. Absolutely. You are always welcome to Delaware, Charlie. Thank you very much, Mona. I have no idea where Delaware is. I will give that a Google later. See what's happening there. Judy says, then I'll work on manifesting you coming to New York. See you soon. Cool. Marie, I have had clients that are upset with the spirit but wanted to hear from the spirit communicator and said in the reading they didn't forgive them even though the spirit took responsibility. What is the psychology, in your opinion, of wanting to hear from a person that may have done harm in life to let them but did not want ownership of the responsibility? Maybe they want to hear a sorry. Maybe. You'll never understand the mental state of people. You know, people are so different, and you know, some people live in a victim role, and that can be destroying for their life, and they won't see it no matter how much you highlight it. They don't see that they're in the victim role, and we know that exists. We've got people that don't see any bad or any harm in anything. They see only the good in absolutely everything. And I've got people and friends that are like that. You know, everything's just wonderful, everything. And so you just won't comprehend every individual's psychology. You know, so the list is endless to why someone would want to hear from someone in the spirit world. For something that they've done or caused harm. I think you've just got to let things like that go while doing readings. It's not for us, is it? So so Lachelle is asking for CC Queen and Marie group. I don't know if you can add them here, you guys. I don't know. You can try, but I don't know. I don't know if you can send these people messages either. Yeah. Oh, look at that. I can add moderators while I'm here as well. That's cool. So you better get clearance from Marie first. Cool. Where'd I go? Where'd it go? Who was the last question? Marie, Marie there. Ah, there. How to connect. That's been answered. Then that's the super chat. Marie, what? Oh no, that's that one. Video. Colette. What is the corridor meditation, Charlie? How can I get access to it, please? It's on the website, Colette. Oh, it's Carol's answered you underneath. The corridor is just a facilitator to the spirit team, the spirit world, with the use of a corridor. Quite a simple process. One that I use personally myself. That's why it's available, because I use it myself. Wayne says, have been using the corridor meditation, Charlie, from you and had some good experience, different every time. That's what I found, Wayne. I found that it would mix it up, and sometimes it could be the further I went on in my development, the more intense some of it could be, and I liked that. I liked that about it. I think that shows growth when things become a little bit more detailed or more intense, or fill in the blank. So thank you for nice feedback there, Wayne. Marie, to clarify your point on practice is no good if you stay in your comfort zone. Absolutely. If you are pushing yourself outside the comfort zone, wouldn't this be beneficial when you practice? I am yet to see anyone push themselves out of their own comfort zone in a practice situation. I run, 4 classes a week? Yeah, four a week. And I constantly have to encourage people, stop doing what you usually do. So the likelihood of someone practicing outside of their own comfort zones is very unlikely. So your point is correct if it was done, but it's not done. I need to do your Zoom class. I put way too much pressure on myself for some reason. Not sure what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, you can sign up for Zoom classes. Trey, is it Trey? Tralen? I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, they're available. I know a lot of them are sold out at the moment. But so if you want to go onto a waiting list or something like that, you'd have to get in contact with admin, where they can put you on a waiting list. They're great groups actually. We have some funny ones sometimes, like a weird mix of people. But that's mediumship, isn't it? I love that aspect of it. And others are really, really encouraging. They're fantastic groups to be working in. Certainly developing in when things are going to get a little bit awkward. So, yeah, I would imagine they come recommended. I don't know. They're my own class. And I'm not going to recommend my own stuff. That's just weird. But I'm sure people will speak for me and say that they're recommended if they've taken anything from them. Colette sounds like me. I don't know what I done or what I said. Miss Silver, last question. I promise. There's no limits to questions on here. No limits. So last question. I promise. This one is for a friend. For a friend, is it? Okay. One of these questions. So, a parent friend was told that people are taking her energy in readings, and that's why she's sick after reading. But your thoughts? No. 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 She was told people are taking her energy in readings. The energy has to blend within a reading. Maybe they're slightly misunderstood. I don't know. They have to blend within that pen. There you go. Good. So the energy has to blend, so it'll be like a collective oneness, but they won't be stealing. Won't be stealing the energy. So no, the problem you have now for your apparent friend is that that the idea is now in their head, and you have to prove it in a way that you have to walk step by step through to show them that information is wrong, because now the idea has been planted. Sarah says, in meditation, I keep seeing this big blue circle. It gets big, then small. What is it? In meditation, I have no idea. No idea. What do you think the big circle represents? The problem is, Sarah, when we're working with your can you see that board? I think. Let me change camera. Now, yeah, there you go. So damn. So when you connect to the spirit world, when you connect to the spirit world, you can see that, right? Yeah. So your aura, and your mind connects to the spirit world, and that information comes through. You decipher that information in that mind of yours, and the only person that can answer the interpretation of that circle is the instrument that's deciphering the information, you. So what do you think the circle represents? And that will be your answer. If you have no idea what the blue circle represents, then I'm absolutely certain that it will make itself known a little bit later on in the journey. Just acknowledge the blue circle. But for me, if I had to interpret that, I'm just thinking about it. If I had to interpret that, for me, when I work mediumship, if I had to interpret color, communication would be blue for me, and that would be because of the understanding of the throat chakra being the blue one. That's where that idea would have come from. You know, and so every book has educated every person that's ever looked at a chakra that the throat one is a blue one. So it makes sense in my head that when I'm communicating via the voice, the throat, the color would be blue, and chakras are drawn as circles. You know, a decade on now, and I have very different views on books and education in that sense. That's how I would interpret it. Communication. Before I get myself in trouble. When I say I'm going to... Sarah says, when I say I'm going to the spirit world, I get vibrations in the back of my head. So now I'm there, but my brain is trying to picture the spirit world. Is there anything to stop this? So you get vibrations with the intention of going to the spirit world, but the brain is trying to picture the spirit world. Can't you just give it an image just to shut the brain up? So imagination's okay in that area. To shut the brain up, I would form a picture. What do you think it looks like? Marie, in your opinion and experience, what percentage of population is open to mediumship in the UK? UK, I'd say 50%. There was actually a survey done in 1954. Can't remember the exact date, and that's going to bug me now. But in 1954, there was a survey done at the Houses of Parliament where it got taken to the Speaker of the land, where they'd done a poll through journalism on spiritualism being accepted or not. And it was 51% then. It hasn't been looked at since, I don't think. So 50%. Brazil was ridiculous. Maybe 90%. Italy, again, ridiculous, but under the Bible, being that the spirit world are there, but they're not to be disturbed. Again, another huge percentage. Switzerland was very different, dependent on what side you were on of Switzerland, was dependent on how they accepted it, because it's got a German side, an Italian side, and a French side. And if you mention God on the German side, then you've lost your day. The French side was, I still visit there now. I have friends and colleagues there now, where I still go out there. Much more accepted there. I don't know. I think people are starting to really warm up to the idea, but it's also increasingly damaged on a daily basis. You know, I mean, I'm always curious. To load up my Facebook. So I'm just opening my phone. I'm going to load up my Facebook. I'm going to see how many it takes, how many posts it takes to get to some numpty saying that they're a medium and doing messages on a live feed. So 1, 2, 3, 3 on my news feed. Yeah, 3. Eh? What with what? What do you mean? Carol forgot I was on a live feed there and just started a fucking conversation for no reason. I don't know what that's all about. So yeah, third one down on my live feed on my news feed on Facebook, and there is a live demonstration of supposed mediumship. Now that stuff is worldwide, Facebook, you know, your social medias, and that is devaluing everything that people have worked for to give it credit. And that is where the problem begins. So, although more accepted as the years tick on, it is definitely looked at a little bit more freely, but devalued with that kind of stuff that happens on a very regular basis on a platform such as Facebook. You know, so yeah. I don't know how to say your name. Len. My forehead has been tingling with lots of pressure. I've also felt spirit, but when I ask my grandma to step forward, I hit a blank. It's very difficult to do your own Len, because your mind will just kick in and go, is it me? Am I making that up? You know, is it because I wanted it? It's very, very difficult to do your own. So I don't really have any advice for you there, because I am exactly the same. I never communicate with my own. I'm fortunate enough that I sit in a classroom 4 days a week, and probably hear from my friends and my family in the spirit world on most days because of that classroom scenario. So I'm rather fortunate there in that sense. But I can't read my own either. My brain just kicks in, and then I have a world of problems from that point. Marie T, what's a good length for a one-to-one mediumship reading? 30 minutes. That's it. No more, no less. Ooh, 30 minutes. It doesn't need any more than that. You can do everything you need in that time frame, and tidy it up. That's it. Katie, thank you. Looking forward to doing the Zoom workshop in December. Look forward to having you, Katie. Hope your family are well. Martha, okay, I bought it, Corridor Meditation, but how do I receive it? I thought it was a download. It should be a download, so have you sent that out already? It's in your email already, Martha. Yeah. Marie, in your experience, have you seen high caliber mediums that never took any classes or received training of any kind? If you have, what do you think they allowed to happen in order to be high caliber? Have I seen one that didn't take any training? No, I haven't. I have never come across one that hasn't received training. No. All the high caliber ones I know. And witness, I don't mean because they wrote a book. I mean, I've watched them do high caliber mediumship. No, they've all received training. Yeah, I can't think of one right now. That may change if I have another sort of 15, 20 minutes thinking about that question. I may have a different answer, but off the top of my head, no. Every single one I know has had a form of training. Oh man, that jumps a lot there. Clayton. Thanks for making all the videos, Charlie. I really appreciate your time and effort. No problem. I'll manifest you in Idaho. Thank you. It looks like I'm going to be in a lot of places if people keep manifesting me there. What's your favorite psychic or medium development book? Tralen. I stopped recommending books, Tralen. I'll give you some substance to that. Because every man and his dog writes a bloody book nowadays, don't they? So it's very, very difficult to get beyond someone's ego and their story and actually take any kind of development for it. So I just stopped buying into the concept of learning mediumship from a book. Now, that's not to say I don't have hundreds of books upstairs. The books I most enjoyed reading during my early development was that of Maurice Barbanel, which I can write in the chat for you. Barbanel. That was the author, so I've wrote that right now in the bottom of the chat. And his books I enjoyed the most. They gave me a good starting point. Now, I disagree with a lot that's within some of those books now, but at the time it put me onto the right track, I think. So I don't recommend them, but if you are gonna go and buy books anyway, then I'd rather you buy those ones. Oh man, jumped again. Yeah, Mona. Mona, I'm not reading that one. Okay, who's that from? I don't know why the viewer activity is not working on you. There's always something wrong with YouTube. Okay, so thank you very much, Niall Dorrington. Noel Dorrington. Thank you very much. I don't know why they're not showing me for that. For another £10 donation, is it? $10. So thank you very much. It's very, very much appreciated. Is there a question to go with it, or is it just a? It's just a thank you. See it on the chat, but I don't see it in the activity. Thank you very much. Thank you. It all helps to go back into the channel. Thank you very much. Where are you? I've done that. Who'd I get up to? I've done that. It jumps like crazy, this thing. Here we go. I'm catching up now. There we go. I got to Mona, didn't I? So Mona says she enjoys classes. That's what I'll do. And just as I catch up, someone pops another donation in there. Trey, I appreciate your no-nonsense approach to mediumship. Thank you for the channel. Thank you very much for your $25 super chat. Thank you very much. It all goes back into the channel. So thank you. And then right at the bottom, I get a pair, I think, giving me a thumbs up from Raven Fire Phoenix with a £3 donation. Thank you very much. Who? Raven. It's not. There's no question on it. Okay, I will find it in a moment. Hopefully this catches up in a minute. I will answer it once it flashes up, or Carol shouts it out to me, Raven, and I'll. Okay. Have spirits ever told you the meaning of life? Why are we here? It's the same answer every time. To perfect ourselves. School. It's a school to learn. We're here to learn. So a very simple answer, and that's always the answer I've always had. It's never changed. It's always been that same answer, which for me can be infuriating, which I'm sure you would like more substance, but it's the same answer I get every single time. It's a school of learning. And eh? Yeah, I've got to find it on the chat though. Right, so I'm down here. So hold on. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Relax. There you go. There's it's Marie after that. It's just easier to give the name on Facebook. Development practice circles for evidential mediumship. There you go. That was for Colette. Colette, I was laughing at you when you were talking about getting a name. I always be, oh my god, if I get a name right from the spirit. Yeah, and you'd be surprised how many times I see it. It is amusing. It's amusing for me now. So yeah. Sarah, when I'm in silent, I hear spirit in my head, but don't know what they're saying. It's not all of the time. It just means the altered state is slightly deeper than normal. But if you don't know what they're saying, then just ask them. They're intelligent. Ask them to make it clearer. Yeah, I can hear the sound, but it's not clear. You're going to have to work harder at that. And then your attention will focus more on the sound. They will make the sound again, and eventually you'll clear it up. You'll strike the right balance. Again, quite a simple process to fix. Tray, right. That's just a long A. Tray with a long A. Tray. Oh. Marie, in your opinion, in theory, could we develop mediumship to a level where it is in everyone's awareness that they truly coexist with us? In other words, less woo-woo and more based in what really is. In our lifetime, I don't think we'll achieve that. I don't think we will. I hope potentially we can get to that point. But you got to remember, like, while we've got demonstrators on Facebook now, I honestly, if I went through an hour of, I've probably got, I don't know, 4,000 friends on Facebook, something like that, where I just accept them until they play up and put something on my timeline, and then they get blocked and they're off. But I just accept them. And if I went for an hour through the last hour of my newsfeed, I'd probably find, I don't know, 150, 200 live readings, live dems, live stuff to do with mediumship. And that goes out to however many people that goes out to. So while we've got people on there going, they show me a daffodil. What does a daffodil mean? You know, and who is Andrew to you? That's not mediumship, you know. And so they're educating the people out there that is mediumship, and it's not mediumship. The medium should know who bloody Andrew is. The medium should be telling the client, I'm aware of the name Andrew and I know I need to place it here. And that will be evidential. That will be correct. They show me a daffodil because, and not, why do they show me a daffodil? You know, why do I hear the name Andrew? Who is Andrew to you? That's not mediumship. That's nonsense is what that is. And so while we see thousands and thousands of that on a daily basis, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Insta, on all the platforms, every single one of them is just chipping away at the credibility that we have built up over the many years that we've been trying to build it. And that is why we won't achieve that at the moment. In the 30-minute read, is it okay to have a few small pauses? I think in a one-to-one read, it's more than acceptable to have a few pauses. You need to gather your mind back. You may have to reset the altered state. You know, every reading is completely different, and because of that, the client ingredient there will change every dynamic every single time. Some may burst into tears. You're not going to over talk someone why they're bursting into tears. It's going to be very, very difficult, isn't it? So I think it's one of those. We've just got to, providing they're few and they're small, you haven't really got to worry about it. If you're taking a 20-minute pause in a 30-minute reading, we got an issue. If you're taking a 5-second pause here and now, I mean, they won't. They're not even noticing that. Sarah, hi Charlie. I was just waking up the other morning and I got a flash of an image of a street in a city with old-looking vehicles. Would this be an image from the spirit world? No. It may be an image from a dream. The spirit world don't have vehicles. There's no reason for a vehicle. So it'll be maybe something from a dream, something you've watched. It could be your immediate location, like my home here. I may have been waking up from that heavily altered state of sleep, and as I'm coming back up through logic, I've attuned to the fabric of a time that was many, many years ago. So I see the image of that. It's in effect psychometrizing the room. In effect, let me adjust that. So psychometrizing the room in effect, or the place. So it's not from the spirit world for me. Answered that one. Charlie's Angel Tarot. Love Charlie girl. Martha, how many people in a Zoom class? Can you tell me little what happens in the class, please? Thank you. Yep, there's 75 people in a classroom at a time. And you rarely see me. I'm doing nothing a lot of the time. It is not my classroom. That'll be all the other big names that you're watching or that you'll be attending. My classrooms are set at an absolute maximum of 22, 24. I usually run them around 12 to 16, and they are very, very practical in what I do. So if you have a problem, we discuss the problem, we fix the problem, we move on from the problem. It's not love and light, and I won't let your ego ruin the class. I will tell you off if your ego's playing up, and I will substantiate everything that I need to through the mechanics. So it's a very, very practical class. Now my internet's playing up. Damn. We'll have to see if it holds out. So as long as you can still hear me, that'll be all right. So yeah, it's on average 20 Martha, but very, very practical within the classroom. Miss Silver, not reading an answer, but I often wonder how many relationships break up when mediumship abilities begin to appear and the other person is blindsided by this new facet in their relationship. Mediumship has the largest global divorce rate in any profession. It's the largest one out there. So that will give you an idea of how damaging it can be in that sense. Some will look at that positively, some will look at that negatively. I see it as a growth and the other one's not growing, and therefore the relationship can't sustain itself. So it's the largest divorce rate in any profession. Cool. Oh, there you go. So Carol's filled it in, Martha, for you at the bottom there. Thank you very much, Charlie's Angel Tarot. Kind words there. Tracy, hi Tracy. Classes, no, you nearly got me. If you hadn't put classes so early on in that statement, I would have read that out. Thank you. Kind words. Adele. Right, this is struggling now. The internet's playing up. Brilliant. Since we've gone back in lockdown, nightmare. Again, thank you, Charlie's Angel Tarot. Kind words. Thank you in advance for your help, says Jose. Thank you. Renee, why do spirits talk to me by showing animals majority of the time? I want to hear sentences. I think a lot of people want to hear sentences, Renee, but the development of it is to develop all the senses. So the visual, the hearing, the smelling, the tasting, the knowing, you know, all of that is part of the development. It will come in time, but, you know, it's going to require effort, a lot of effort. I'll message your page. I'd like to be on the waiting list for classes. Trey, no problem. Charlie's Angel Tarot, I would love to do a collaboration with you as you do vlogs and they resonate so much. Thanks. Thank you very much. Take care, Charlie, as I'm really busy with getting on with my videos. Cool. I'll check it out. I'll see what your channel's about. I think mediumship has also been abused by the non-mediums. That would be a lovely subject to discuss with you on a vlog. Cool. I can't find a link to donate. It's just Super Chat, Susan, or PayPal. You just use PayPal, which is on the ticker bar going across the bottom of your screen. Take care. Charlie's Angel, and you. Cool. Cindy, hi Charlie. I often see faces staring at me, and when I ask, how can I help, they disappear. There's nothing you can do to help, Cindy. You're just interpreting the energy as an image. So it's not. I'm struggling to understand what it is that you would help them with. So maybe a little bit more information there. I need to thank Susan for her $20 donation. So thank you very much, Susan. Gone to the PayPal. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Jose, I started developing mediumship from your videos, so I'm very thankful to you. What a birthday gift. I'll turn 56 tomorrow. Happy birthday to Jose. For your 56th birthday tomorrow. Hope you enjoy your day. Sarah, thanks for your answer. I never knew that. It now makes sense about the dream state. Cool. I'm fine. You can still see and hear me. Cool. It's just coming up that there's it's struggling to maintain the link, but yes, one has to devote their being to be the channel and can resonate with that very deeply, Charlie. And me, my story is the same. So yeah. Susan donated. I can see that you're having a chat there about it. Diane, hi Charlie. In your experience, what is it like working with clients who have foreign communicators? Is there a language barrier? Asking for a friend. I'm loving this. Asking for a friend stuff. There is the language is universal, so energy is universal. The way I decipher it is in the English language. So even if I'm working with the Portuguese mother, then as I decipher that consciousness through my mind, that will instantly translate it into a relatable language that I can use, which is English. So there is no language barrier. The only time there is a barrier is when I'm trying to give it to someone that doesn't speak the English language, like when I'm in Portugal. Then I would need a translator to translate my words back to the loved one sitting in front of me. Cindy, what they want from me, I can't seem to communicate with them, but see them all the time. They don't want anything from you. They're maybe just making themselves known for something that you may consider looking at now or later on in life. So just acknowledge it. If you don't want it, just tell them to go away. And if you want it a little bit more, then just ask for a little bit more. but they don't want anything from you. No problem, Jose. Even the bathtub, which you find a bit creepy, says Cindy. Yeah, it will be, but when you're in the bathtub, you're not in your mind's not racing all over the place in the beta state, is it? Your mind's relaxed. Your mind's chilling out with the rose petals and the bath bomb, and you're just relaxing and you're letting the pressures go from your neck and your shoulders and your lower back, and the warmth of that bath is there and you're just chilled. And that's because you're in an altered state, and when you're in the altered state, you'll find spirit world. So that's why it's happening in the bathtub. Oh my God. So thank you, Mona, for the $4.99 donation. Thank you very much. And Jose for the 25 euros, I think. So thank you very much for your donations tonight, chat. It's I'm so bad at gratitude. I'm so terrible at it. So know that it really, really is appreciated, and it really, really does go back into the channel. As Carol will quite happily verify, when I'm buying new glass for a camera or a new bag to hold said camera, it all goes back, and I top it up with money, because camera gear is very, very expensive. So yeah, if it's not coming across that I'm grateful, please understand that I am. I'm just useless at it. So it is so appreciated. Where did I get to there? Please use the $sign to place the super chat and stick and follow it. I wish you a fantastic day, Charlie. Thank you very much, Charlie's Angel. That's very, very kind. And my internet's back. It's just all clicked back in. Don't know what happened there. Elizabeth, wow, sad to hear divorce rate. My husband is my motivator to share my mediumship with others. That's good. There will always be the stories of people that they have a supportive other half, which is great. I mean, embrace that. That's really, really good. Thank you, says Diane. Marie, how often should a newbie practice readings? Again, I think it's whatever your diary can do. I think the time spent shouldn't just be spent practicing readings. I think your time would be better invested if you sat with your spirit guide or your spirit team, so and then put that into a reading, see what happens after you've sat for an hour with them, and see what goes on from there. I personally believe that practice is not the key to mediumship. Building your relationship with the spirit world is much more important. The classes are that of presentation, mechanics. How do I deal with this? How do I deal with that? The relationship is the relationship. That is going to be where your best efforts are going to be served. Sitting in silence with the intention of the guide will give you far greater results. Thank you. Jose says you deserve it. So, again, thank you. You have to be a receiver sometimes, Charlie, says CC Queen. That's fine coming from her, isn't it? But yes, I understand that, CC Queen. Sometimes you do have to receive as well as give. I get it. But maybe that is a double-barreled statement there. Maybe you could listen to that also. Martha, I'm serious about everyone else already. A super medium in class. I'll look like an idiot. You okay with someone who really wants to do this but doesn't already know a lot? I do listen to your videos though. Yeah, I'm cool. Trust me, I have had the most difficult people in my classroom, and I survive. So you are not going to be the challenge you think you are. L3 Paranormal. Do you think some of the living are chosen to do spirit work? Absolutely not. Not for me, no. Everyone has their ability. It's a birthright. It's whether they choose to look at it or not. Sarah Owens, thank you for answering my question. I'll be trying what you said. It all sounds so simple, but we all make it hard. It is honestly the easiest thing I've done ever in my life. It's the easiest thing I've done. The books, the teachers, the ideas, they are what made it appear hard. Thanks for your time, no problem. Just brought the corridor meditation, looking forward to checking it out. I look forward to you looking forward to it. Renee's world. When I'm outside, it's like I have a better connection and I hear clearly. But when I'm in the house, I can see them standing around me, but they don't speak, so don't understand that. Then ask them to speak. They're intelligent, and know that they're speaking, and you're just not finding it. So it's intelligent. It won't be. You're making it harder than it needs to be there. And we're at the end. Cool. So that's the end of your questions at the moment. So this is going to be your last call. You know, like when you're in the bar in the UK and the final orders go in and the bell gets rang. That's what's happening now. So last orders is what they shout out here in the UK. So any last questions that I can help you with right now, then I will do that and schedule another one in. So I always enjoy these live Q&A. Genuinely, I know I mess around and I know I joke and you know, it can all be a bit serious and all that kind of stuff. But there has to be an outlet. There has to be. I constantly say it to my class. I looked for something like this in my journey when I needed an answer. I needed help, and I never found it. So I wanted to be that void. I wanted to fill that in with with good understanding. So cool. Right, here we go. So Martha, I'm not worried about you in class. I'm worried about me. Thanks for answering the question and all your videos. I appreciate them. Martha, seriously, it'll be there. You'll regret not doing it earlier. Platt Jord, weed and mediumship, good or bad? It doesn't really matter. Weed is, you know, I'm not gonna encourage anyone to start going out to the street corner and start buying 25 bags of weed. But it's a relaxing thing. I think there will be an ease to letting go of certain areas with it. I would take it in the same vein as I would with alcohol. I wouldn't work and use alcohol. I like alcohol. You know, I'm a huge fan. I'm probably a shareholder in Hennessy right now. But I would never drink a Hennessy and then go and work. So one I use for pleasure, and my own time, and then my work's my work. And I would do it that way, Platt, which is probably not the answer you wanted, but that's how I would look at that. Sarah says, I'm trying to hear my guide and get to know him. Should I just do meditation for this? Just invite him. I've done. Sarah, you're so fortunate because I've done a guide meditation, you know, where you just invite them to come and join you. It is available on the website, and I fucking hate doing plugs. So yeah, there's one there. Basically, in that meditation, there is a bench. You go with the intention of sitting with them. You invite them to join you, and you build the relationship. That's what that meditation does. You can do that without buying the meditation. Jose, sometimes Spirit give me some ordinary tips, suggestions, and I follow them and get one. Of course, absolutely, of course. Thanks, Charlie and Carol, for the live. Colette says, thank you, Charlie. I enjoyed that tonight, and I do believe we have to have fun along the way with it all. Absolutely. I'll have a look. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. As always, a great Q&A, and your advice are greatly appreciated. Carol, thank you for the tireless work you do to keep all this up and running. You are amazing. Thank you for the time, both, says Deb. Cool. So I'm going to round it up there. I want a cigarette now. So thank you, as always, for you guys and the super chats and, you know, and just being here. The next step to help me promote the channel would be to like the video if you haven't already liked it. There'll be a little thumbs up down there somewhere. If you can give that a little click, if you didn't mind. And if you wanted to share it, there is also a share button that you can share to your groups, your pages, and all that kind of stuff, just to raise awareness for the channel. It is really, really slow going. It is really, really hard work. But I am so determined to hit that 10,000 and get my little YouTube play button in the background there. So it's I can only do it with your help. And so I thank you for joining me, as always. And I appreciate all those people that go on to click that thumb and click that share button and let people know that I am here. So look after yourself. I will set up another date that you can click a reminder for, and I won't mess this one up. I will run the beginning ads at the end for the meditations and the New York trip at the end of this video for about 15 seconds. Then I'll shut it down. Thank you all so much for joining me. Subscribe if you aren't already. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.